Quite useful to download all the setting instructions from the web page, where you'll also find full details of how to wire the unit up and how to set it with the setting box, etc. Everything that I'm telling you here is available in the paperwork. Hi, this is Dave Dingo for Dingo Servo Mounts, and this is just to give you an indication of how to set up a single servo control board. I have the whole thing set up here. This is the servo board. That's the servo that I'm going to be controlling. This is a input for the 12 volt DC supply, and this is a standard switch. What we need to do in order to make this happen is to switch, let me just unplug that, is to switch those 2 points together. The one is at earth and the one is at a higher point, and we need to switch those together. So this switch just basically shorts out those 2 points. As it stands at the moment with the switch in that position, this is then open, and that's where I'm going to start. The servo itself plugs on with the darker wire, the brown wire, the black wire, to this side over here. And your positive is the red wire, just to the inside, and the green is the negative wire from the 12 volt supply. Now, in order to power a board like this, something like one of these little wall warts is more than adequate. This one is a 1.5 ampere. It'll be quite happy to power 2 to 3 boards without any problems, as long as you don't fire all the servos at the same time. The other thing that you will need is one of our setting boxes, and this comes with a cable attached. This is a 2 meter Cat5 cable, and it plugs into the back of the box, and if you need something longer than that, you can always add a longer cable in, but that you'll need to set it up. Before we start, let's do some settings here. Make sure that the setting box is set in the center there, so not to the sides but in the center, so that that will give us a nice central point to start the servo. Now let's plug in and we'll carry on from there. We can then plug in our 12 volt power. The moment I do that, you will see the little red light over here come on. That tells me that the board is now functioning. As a matter of interest, that doesn't come on immediately. It takes a couple of seconds to come on once you power up the board. Now we take the cable from the setting box and we plug it in. Please note that we're still in the, let me just move that forward a bit. We're still in the open position here. So I plug my setting box in, and immediately the light starts to flash. Now in the open position, if I move this grey control over here, you'll be able to move the servo to wherever you want. Let's assume that we want it in that position there. Once we get to that position, just stop and wait until the flashing light goes out. Now it's on solid, so I can turn the switch to the other side. The light will start to flash again, and I can then set the other side with the yellow controller. Once I've got to the right position, wait a couple of minutes until the light stops flashing. Once the light is solid again, I can then unplug the setting box, and this point is now set. So every time I operate the switch, it will move from side to side. And that's basically all there is to it. Now you can release the switches and move them in until they just click. Once they just click, you can lock that in place. Drive the servo to the other side and slacken off this one and move it until it just clicks. Don't put too much pressure on it, and now it will go and operate your two switches. And that pretty much is the setting up of the board. One final note is that if you overdrive the servo, in other words you try and push it to a point where it can't get, the little flashing light on the board will never stop flashing and you won't be able to set the servo. So the best thing then is just to back off the control a smidge, and it will then come back and it will set. Thank you.